just like any other. I was sitting at my desk, finishing up the paperwork on what I thought would be my last case. I was 2 weeks from retirement. As much as I didn't want to leave, I felt like I owed it to myself and my family. This job had consumed every aspect of my life for the past 30 years. I breathed it, I ate it, I slept it. I hate to think that's why she left, but I couldn't come up with any other reason. Some detective I am. When I got the case, it looked pretty routine. The perps targeted students walking home from parties off campus, approaching them with a machete, and took everything they had. Hardly original. But it seemed that every case that comes through these doors was the same old shit. It wasn't until I met with the victim that I first realized something was off. She was a brave girl to come back to the scene of the crime with me. I felt bad making her relive the whole ordeal, but it had to be done. She told me that the perp sped off down the street, going towards campus, and that she never saw them make a turn. I thought maybe she was just flustered and was mistaken. She assured me that that's the way they went. Something just didn't add up. All the victims reported the perps fleeing in different directions at roughly the same time. There was no way these could be the same people. They couldn't be in two places at once. The case went cold for the next few days. With nothing to do and no new breaks, I had to keep myself occupied. I still worked on the case, believe me, it was my #1 priority. But I took a PI job at the university to pass the free time that I had. I was investigating something about a series of thefts on campus that they wanted to keep hush-hush. It was an open and shut case, and a quick payday, so I didn't mind. You'd be surprised how these things start coming together when you least expect them to. I got the call telling me my check was ready to be picked up, and went right over to the university. When I told the receptionist I was a private investigator there to pick up my check, she said she was going to need my name. She told me there's been so many PIs coming in and out of that office lately. It's been hard to tell which one is which, and she didn't want to give me the wrong check. She ran my name and went to the back to get it. While she was back there, I quickly copied down the names of the other PIs and the dates from the record book. Why would a university with its own private police and such good ties to local law enforcement have so many PIs on their payroll? I knew I was onto something, I just didn't know what. When I got back to the office, I ran that list of names through every database I could, and came up with nothing. None of the names had anything to do with one another. I was at a loss. So much for my big break. It wasn't until later that night when things started to come together. I started looking at the dates rather than the names, and a pattern started to emerge. Every time a PI was on campus investigating a recent incident, it was consistently 3 days before a major off-campus incident. This was no coincidence. Nearly every high-profile crime that occurred off-campus was tied to a corresponding on-campus incident. I just stumbled onto something big. The drive-by only confirmed everything I had thought to be true. I was onto something, and someone didn't want me figuring it out. Apparently the chief felt differently. He put me on paid vacation until retirement. Said I'd been through a lot. Should get some rest. Of course I didn't listen. I had to get to the bottom of this. And that's how I wound up here. With you. Staring down the barrel of a Colt 1911. Oh, I'd say I got to the bottom of things.
That you did, Merson, and I commend you for it. You see, running a university like this isn't all making new schools, hiring new professors, and discontinuing sports programs. Sometimes you put in a position where you have to get your hands dirty. Let me explain. Whenever something bad happens on campus, be it a rape or a robbery, less and less students want to live on campus. After all, it's cheaper to live off campus, and the kids tend to like freedom that comes with having your own house. Anyways, when less people are living on campus, the university loses money. And when the university loses money, I lose money. And that, detective, is something I cannot afford. Now, Mr. Mercer, let me ask you something. Have you any idea how much it costs to maintain and fuel a Rolls-Royce Phantom? It's not like you can put any kind of fuel in a machine like that, but when we run on the finest, most expensive fuel money can buy. And let me tell you, a month of fueling that thing is about the same as your entire pension. Now, you can bet your ass I'm not paying a pretty penny to drive around in one of the greatest feats of automotive excellence known to man. The university is. So, to keep the kids on campus and the fuel in my tank, we have to push the boundaries of what's considered to be ethical. So, whenever something happens to scare the kids off campus, I have to do something to scare them back on. You see, detective, in my time here, I've learned that one thing above all, that people will pay for their safety. The mob knew it, security companies knew it, and this university damn sure knows it. Now, any business course you could take here will tell you, once you know what the people want, you can exploit it and it will work for you. Or, something like that. Anyways, I've been doing this for a long time, my friend, and I'm not about to let some nameless detective foil everything. Consider this case closed.